Check, check, 1, 2, test, test.
Perfect, man.
Okay, we're good. We're rolling. Yo, 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 what's going on, everyone? It's been like ages, I think, since a YouTube video, like a proper YouTube video. I did one in Europe, self-filmed, and yeah, no visuals or anything, but here we are. It's Sunday morning in Boulder, 2 weeks out from Dallas. Got a pretty hard workout here. It's 17, 18 miles in total. Bit of a warm-up, and then it's a runner's fartlek, so it's 12 times, 3 minutes on, at like 5:10, 5 to 5:20 pace per mile, so that's 3 to 3:15 pace per K, and then 1:30 off, which is at like 6:15 pace, which I think is 3:45 per K, so the offs are not easy, so it's kind of a VO2 combined with the threshold. That whole set takes 54 minutes, so just under what I'm hoping to run at Dallas. And yeah, just really putting in the work today, and we'll get a pretty large interview for you guys afterwards. There's lots and lots of updates, so I can't possibly touch on them now, but I'm looking forward to the updates. Will involve will involve my Europe trip, kind of what happened, some of the foo bars, which it means things that went very wrong there, just kind of the overall travel, what happened at the Collins Cup, what that means for my branding, Kona or not Kona, where I'm at with that, and yeah, that will be the updates. So lots of updates, and we'll show you the hard work first, and then we'll do the talking. Oh, it's going to be painful. This is one of the hardest workouts I do. Kind of dreading it, I guess you could say. Not dreading it. I guess I'm more looking forward to the challenge, but I know this is a very serious workout. Oh, you know, there we go. Always nice to see that Sam Long is still grabbing KOMs, doing the talking with his legs instead of the talking with his mouth. Oh, that was actually a very challenging session, but it exceeded my expectations, actually. And yeah, I said I kind of cheated. I started uphill, right? I started sort of towards the top. It's not like I ran down a mountain, but I started maybe with 200 feet net uphill. So, you know, me being me, I didn't want to cheat too much, so I actually added a 13th rep on. 13 is kind of a lucky number because it's an unlucky number for everyone else. So I think it's my lucky number and it's my girlfriend's favorite number. So I did 13 reps instead of 12 to make sure I wasn't being soft on the session, you know. And on the topic of being soft, since I've been called soft, which was an unusual thing for me to be called, I suppose I better discuss the Collins Cup here. So, you know, Europe overall was it was an absolutely amazing experience for me. It put me 100% out of my comfort zone. It got me to challenge myself. I mean, just as an idea, I was there for 9 weeks. During those 9 weeks, I drove like 4,500 kilometers, which is like 2,600, 2,700 miles with flights as well. I mean, it was a pretty tall task. I slept in 12 different hotels or something. I raced in 5 different countries. And for myself, I knew what the trip was about. It was about exceeding my level of comfort. It was about making Europe a familiar place. It felt really really felt like Mars while I was there, when I first got there. And then by the end, I feel like I could live in Europe, and like 70.3 World Champs is there next year. Obviously Roth is there, Collins Cup is there, and all these things are such important races, and to go there and feel lost and not know what you're doing is hard. So I feel like that's the biggest thing I accomplish, is I can go there and I can be comfortable in Europe, and I'm really set up for future races. I mean, you know, I ended the trip on a high. I went to Poland, into Guinea. I won that. I set the course record, and really put down a great performance, and just had a great weekend in Poland, and it sort of was showing overcoming. And now back to the original. Wow, this is a Lionel Sanders big long talk, but I'm explaining everything. Then, okay, we show up at the Collins Cup, and last year, you know, the Collins Cup, I mean, frankly, I got my ass handed to me by Jan. I think I went in kind of underprepared for the level of competition it was going to be. I thought, like, okay, it's sort of an appearance fee based thing. It's kind of like an expedition. The week you're living with everyone, you're eating with everyone, you're kind of like hyping it up. So this week I went in like, I'm just ready to race. I'm minding my own business, and shit hit the fan. There's just no other way to say it. Anyways, since then I've been kind of much more quiet. I've almost not wanted to even talk about the Collins Cup. I've almost not wanted to be on social media. I've almost not wanted to make YouTubes, and I've really just wanted to like let my legs do the talking and not do that. But I know, like, overwhelmingly it's so positive, and people, you want to hear my journey and you want to hear what it's about. And I think there's really important learning lessons from Collins Cup. So I guess I'll talk about it. And the first thing I want to say is, like, I do think I created a bit of this situation. I think people look back at me from 2 years ago and they see, like, okay, and this is why I got called soft, that, oh, I can give things and not take things. And you know, I kind of became known as this guy who talks smack. And I guess the only thing I can say is I've always wanted to be an inspiration to people, and I've always wanted to build the sport and build myself up and also other athletes. And I think the smack talk I did, the number one person I did it with was Lionel, and I think it built me up, I think it built him up, and I think it built the sport up massively. And I think that's not just hot air coming out of my ass, because you can look, Lionel and I are good friends. We're texting often. We still have great rivalries. We look forward to racing each other. And, like, no, I haven't beat him at a 70.3 yet when he was at his best. But, like, I mean, I won't speak, but I'm pretty sure you can ask Lionel and he'll say that I'm not all talk and that I've got something to back it up. And so I think that's the lesson, is, like, there's a certain way smack talk needs to be done. And what was going on at the Collins Cup just wasn't that. And people also don't know the backstory. I was kind of being harassed for months on social media, like 2 months, and not just in a way that's like saying, oh, you know, I can beat him at biking or running, or I'll take his KOM, or Sam's a duathlete, or making a rap song about me. None of that stuff's any problem. I actually thought that stuff was great. But, you know, there was a lot of talking behind my back that I heard about. That was pretty serious allegations. There was stories that were saying that, you know, they don't like me as a person and that I'm not a cool person. And so it was much beyond just me as an athlete. And I ignored everything because I just didn't feel like it was a positive situation. So I ignored all of it, thinking, okay, it'll just kind of go away. I've never met the guy. Well, I met him once at St. George World Champs, and I congratulated him on his race and said, you know, nice racing at St. George. Nice to meet you. So basically a 15-second encounter, and then this all goes off. And then we got matched together. And then they insisted on an interview. And this is kind of the interview, I guess, that got known. And I mean, whatever things were being said, that I take myself too seriously, that even if the swim was canceled, and this is when I ended the interview, even if the swim was canceled, that Laidlow could easily beat Lionel and I at both the bike and run. And at that point, I just said, like, you need to have respect for me, and you actually need to have even more respect for Lionel, because he's won 30 races, and, like, it's one thing to talk smack and it's another thing to spread lies. And then I just said, this interview's over, and I walked out and slammed the door. And I think I did what any self-respecting man would do. At a certain point, you have to stand up for yourself. And and I guess, I mean, the results sort of speak for themselves. What happened on race day, like, but to keep saying that I I do too much talking and not enough results. Like, all I can do is encourage you to go look at my website and see my results from the last years. I mean, I won 3 races in 2019, and I've won that many races every year since. And I'm the vice world champion. I'm second at the 70.3 World Championships. So, to be honest, Collins Cup, like, I raced with kind of a heavy heart. I knew what I had to do, and thankfully, I actually had to return the rental car. So I finished, and I was in the car driving back to Germany like 30 minutes after. But I'll be completely honest, I couldn't have been more happy to get out of the Collins Cup and leave that place. And yeah, it's sad for me because obviously I think the performance Lionel and I had there was a great performance. But I left with like no positive emotions about that race. I left wanting to forget the whole experience, and yeah, and then I came home, and now I've been just really working hard towards my goals, and I've learned a lot as a person, and I think it's ushering in a new sort of, I don't want to use the word era, but it's ushering in a new frontier for who and what I want to be in this sport. And I think my number one thing is always like positivity and humor, and then racing my ass off, and I feel I've gotten a little misunderstood, and I can absolutely see that's 100% my fault. It's 100% my fault for how I portrayed myself. And so, because that's the other thing, then I've gotten all this other stuff, backlash, like, oh, now you're a, you know, the P word, you're a sissy, basically. I'm a sissy because I don't talk smack back and I don't stand up for myself. And it's because if I ever say anything, then it's like I'm known as this sort of bully and someone, and I want to do the smack talk, and I look forward to doing it again, but only when it can be done in a way that's understood properly. And until then, like, I'm just going to shut my mouth and work really hard and get good results and be really respectful and really nice, because triathlon, we're not UFC. We're not a sport where you go out and you punch each other in the face. And the Collins Cup is the best possible example of that. Like, all of the top athletes stay in one hotel and you eat 3 meals in the same cafeteria every single day. And each meal is like 2 hours. So there's just no room in this sport to be like mortal enemies with the people you're racing all the time. And guess what? Our sport's like monotonous and boring. You just watch me do a workout. We train 35 hours a week in our own heads. Like, there's not many room for friends. And the best opportunity for friendship in this sport as a professional is with your other professionals. So, like, if I want to talk smack and be this rude guy and ruin all those friendships, then, like, I don't think I'd look back and have a very fun career, because I'd have no friends in it. And, like, that's not cool, because, like, I love going to races and I love seeing all the buddies and saying, hey, what's up? And then regardless of who wins, you know, the race, you can get drinks after, and I love congratulating the guy who wins after. And so that's my experience. And yeah, a little long-winded, but that's what I have to say. And so for the rest of the year here, Dallas is coming up. I'm pretty excited for Dallas. And then I'm doing 70.3 World. So those are my 2A races. And I have, there's been a lot of pressure. There's been a lot of talk about Kona. I know earlier in the year I said I'd skip Kona, and I know people actually have bets going on me. I literally know people have bets. They bet money like, oh, Sam said that, but he's going to be at Kona 100%. And after much ado, much deliberation, much going back and forth, I've told Ironman to remove my name from the start list. I don't know if it's done yet. I think it's probably done by now. So I will not be at Kona. And for me, it's absolutely 100% the right decision. I feel great about the decision. And the explanation, like, there's been a lot of talk about, okay, Kona is really expensive. It doesn't have anything to do with Kona being really expensive. I mean, that's a whole separate conversation. And in my opinion, maybe more of a problem for age groupers and for middle tier pros. But if you're a top pro and you believe you can win Kona or be top 5 or top 10, like, it's an investment in yourself, and you go and you'll reap 10 times that if you do well. So yeah, it's an expensive business cost, but that's not why I didn't race. I didn't race because I've got my eyes set on a 70.3 World Championships. I've got my eyes on trying to earn that title world champion, and that to me means much more than going to Kona this year. And it's my calling for this year, and so I'm all in on that. And I've come back, and after Europe, like, I mean, Europe was a mess. I'm a bad sleeper, so it was just like everything was all up in the air for 9 weeks. And I've come back and it's like, boom, own bed, boom, I can go to Costco, get my food, boom, like I know my training routes, I know my training partners, I know the pool times, I know everything. And it's like, it's been so awesome to get into routine, and I'm really fired up for the rest of the year. So we'll see you all in Dallas in 2 weeks. And thank you for tuning in and give me some love. Oh, one more thing. So I don't know when we're putting this video out, but this American Rebel series, which is the shorts I have and the outfit I've been wearing, it's launching on Zoot on Wednesday, this Wednesday. And I think it's a great way to support me. I designed the kit for the European tour to kind of show, okay, like, this is what I'm trying to bring American pride over. And I think it's also, actually, the name's even more perfect than I thought, like American Rebel, right? And I think obviously I'm American and I stand by that, and I went to Europe and I represent my country, but I think Rebel can mean so much more than like, oh, you're this guy who like, is against things, or you're like a negative context. I think Rebel can be a very positive context, and it's like you stand up for what's right, you stick to your values, and because that is a rebel, really, right? You do what you believe in, no matter what is going on in the world at all costs. So that's to me what American Rebel means, and it's wild, it's fun. So go get it on Zoot, and thank you so much. Yo, yo, yo.